Hey, this is Christopher Mosier, and welcome to the Fan Film Podcast. And this is going to be episode 57. That's October 10th, 2009. We're going to be speaking with Mr. Dan Poole. This is going to be part one of a two-part interview. So let us proceed.
As I have always said, you are no match for me. And now the end. The end of our perpetual hatred. The end of Spider-Man. The end of all the pain and suffering you've caused me. The victory of the Green Goblin. Do you hear me, Parker? Do you hear me, Spider-Man?
Hello, Dan? Mr. Dan Poole.
Yes.
Hey, Dan, this is Christopher Mosier.
How you doing?
How are you? Good evening. And you already spoke with Fanboy Will this evening.
I did. Yep.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. Did you have any questions before we started? I should ask you.
Yeah, how much am I getting for this? No. Okay.
Let me see. I have some spare change in my pockets here.
Yes, I will appreciably help you.
I have a Canadian quarter. Is that good? What's the exchange rate on that?
A friend of mine just put that in my head like a half hour ago. He says, "Oh, really? They paying you?" I'm like, "No." I said, "But that's going to be my first question."
Let's see. When we make nothing, you make nothing equals
nothing, right?
Yeah.
No questions. I saw the site. I dig it. I love
Thanks.
this format, and I really have wanted to take some time to listen to more of them. I haven't been able to. I was really enthralled with Roger King stuff. I mean, from start to finish with everything about that guy. But then I heard the podcast, and that was the first time I saw, this format. When I clicked on the link from his site, I was like, "What is this? Check it out."
Who are these idiots?
Cool. You're right.
And he spoke very well of you.
It was really humbling and flattering to hear like the reverence that I got, in both those interviews. I thought, wow, man, it's really nice to think that, because like I wrote to you, Chris, last week, that it just seems like I'm old news. That was like
no, absolutely not.
You're like the beginning of the Marvel fan film period.
And I have to apologize because we always talked about inviting you on, and just for whatever reason, it just never happened. And you are one of the kings of the fan film. I mean, when you think of fan films,
absolutely.
It's definitely Dan Poole.
Cool, man. Thanks. It's really a neat position to be in. But it's really neat to think that something that I did an interview at Comic-Con for a guy who's doing a documentary on fan films, and that was the first time I sat back and really considered the fact that when you hear fan films get tossed around, the term and the genre, it's become a genre. I think that's wild. But when anyone asks me nowadays about my fan film, I have to stop and say, wow, man, I didn't make it to be a fan film. In fact, there's a disclaimer on the very end that says this in no way was intended for a mass audience. It was made for three people. It was made for James Cameron, Stan Lee, and Dan Poole. That's it. and the fact that anyone else saw it, let alone pretty much people all over the globe, and then appreciate it like they did, is just mind-numbing. I can't wrap my head around it sometimes.
That's awesome, and it keeps going. And we should mention that we are speaking with Dan Poole from Alpha Dog Production.
I know that guy.
About a couple, he's made a couple fan films, so I got to throw that out there so I can edit it in someplace in the beginning. But let's talk about you did this film, The Green Goblin's Last Stand, and Fanboy Will tell me that's how he got introduced into fan films.
Yes, you were actually one of the first fan films I've ever seen. I was in college at FIT. My friend said, "Hey, come into the library, watch this Spider-Man movie." And I'm like, "Spider-Man movie?" Because at the time, it was the Spider-Man before Sam Raimi, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" And I'm looking at it, I'm like, is this like some like amateur guys moving in and watching in the costumes? I'm like, that's pretty cool. You're on top of the car spinning around the corner. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. This was about, 2001.
Okay.
And it was the first one I've seen, so it's been 8 years now, and I saw it, and I was like, wow, what else is out there? Is there like a a Batman fan? I didn't even know about Dead End at that point, and all these other films, Star Wars and Star Trek, and all these other things, and you basically are one of the main influences on me becoming a fan film journalist. So I thank you for that.
Is that what you are, a fan film journalist?
Yeah. That's right.
Well, that's very, very neat. Unless unless your wife hates me for that. So.
The cat's meow. That's all I can say.
Well, it was. It did everything except what it was intended to do, which was get me a job.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah, it just exceeded. Well, when it first got done, of course, all I did was piss and moan and rant and rave about what it wasn't. I mean, that's just my style. Shoot for the moon, and then.
Right.
Even when I miss and I've still got something good, it's not at the level. I mean, I've rarely done anything production-wise that's at the level I envision it, and it's always because of resources.
Do you think it grounded you, kind of? Meaning, did you think it was going to blast you off into the stratosphere back in 1992, or do you think you're kind of more humbled by it now that it didn't really do what you wanted it to do?
Yeah, it actually took several years. I guess it really. Now I think about it, only took about 2 years for it to really beat me down, because once it was done, I was off again to California with my videotape in hand, and I thought all I got to do is knock on Cameron's door and say, "Look what I made for you." And it was swimming upstream. It was so hard just to get in the door, just get in the lobby. And I think I was probably another reason for someone else's job. I think they finally hired a security guard in that little place in Santa Monica because dude just kept drifting off the street, Santa Monica Boulevard, and be like, "Hey, good to see Mr. Cameron again. Yeah, I can't seem to catch him in his black Met leaving the rear entrance. Can you direct me to his office, please?" And they're like, "No, but you can go back outside." It was rough. So yeah, for 2 years I did everything, and they sent it back every time. Wow. I got an agent to represent, and then they sent it back to him and said, "Sorry, it's unsolicited. We can't watch it. No, thank you."
Yeah.
And it was breaking my heart, because I just thought, dude, just 4 minutes out of your day? Are you kidding me?
I know. Yeah, but there's 500 people lining up before you saying, "Come on, 4 minutes out of your day." And
I don't. Maybe in '92. I don't know. Probably because he was Cameron right after Terminator 2. As soon as that was out, he was in the stratosphere.
Huge, yeah.
But I thought he would still be acceptable to a degree. They just wouldn't watch that. And then the worst thing, oh my God, I finally, in early '94, I thought, no, I'm sorry, it was late '93. I thought, I'm getting back on a plane, I'm going back out there, I've done my research, I know who his assistant is, and I got the perfect line. I'm going to say to her, "Hi, my name's Dan Poole. I just flew 3,000 miles just to take you to lunch. That's all I want to do." Girl comes out in a full leg cast and crutches.
What?
And can you hear the cosmic toilet flush at that moment? I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding, man? I like Al Bundy. Yeah, I did the Al Bundy. Just looked skyward and went, "Good one."
Why?
Because she wasn't going anywhere. And I'm like, "Could we order pizza?" She's like, "Nah, thanks anyway." I'm like, "Okay." So
nice try.
So after a year and a half, 2 years, it was somewhere around '94, and after moving in with my sister out in California for about 6 months, I just finally came here and decided that I would try to do something original and something feature length that would, show me being an actual filmmaker, not just, I guess a fan filmmaker, which is what I was and didn't even know it.
Were you aware of the old Spider-Man Craven movie? It was like 1974 to me. Were you aware of this, or?
I got aware of that, I think right after the Green Goblin's Last Stand.
Yeah, because I think it just actually came out lately, the news about this movie. It's kind of like an old secret. Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude has been sitting on it since, the mid-'70s, late '70s, when he thought Marvel was going to do a deal with him.
Yeah, that's right.
As far as I know, to this day, right, the only time I had an email exchange with him about 6 years ago, he just refused to send a copy to anyone. He said, "Look, if you're ever in L.A., I'll let you come by and see it, but it's not even his house."
Yeah. I guess it's played at a couple festivals or something, but yeah, that is kind of strange why you wouldn't put it online and get some,
right?
Some credit
I
from
heard.
it.
No, I read something very interesting about the Craven movie, the guy NYC student film, and the authenticity that no one, at least no one I knew, ever thought about was that these New York superheroes might have New York accents.
Right.
I heard Peter Parker had a little bit of an accent. Not a gangster, but...
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
I thought that was fun. I always wanted to see it. So, yeah, I heard about it, I believe, after the fact. And I don't know if you guys know that I graduated high school in '86, and I'd say '87 I got a job with the National Aquarium in Baltimore, and got a video camera out of the AV room and shot a pseudo documentary for a guy that was leaving as a going away present. It was about 20 minutes long, and everybody was howling, and somebody turned to me at one point and said, "Hey, man, you're a good director." And that was the light bulb. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Maybe I don't need anybody else. Maybe I just do it all. So I actually made several short Spider-Man videos, like 20-minute pieces. And then I actually did one big 50-minute video. It was supposed to be the pinnacle of what I could do in, 1991. And it had the Kingpin, the Arranger, and Bullseye in it.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. And I didn't bother sending it out. And then I just kind of stopped, And then I heard Cameron was supposed to be in charge. I'm like, wait a minute. I can do better. I will swing around the building. I will show Spider-Man in action. And then everything just went into a whole different gear. And I'll say this, before it's asked of me, before I don't add it to this interview, I will say this. This is my big disclaimer that I tell every 14-year-old with mom's computer that sees the Green Goblin's Last Stand and bashes it. It used to piss me off, but after a while I stopped and I considered who was writing these reviews, and I finally had a stock answer for everybody. I'm like, dude, I will find a time machine, and I will give you $400, and I will drop you off in Baltimore in '92. If you can do any better, I'll give you 14 months. If you can do any better,
I know, right?
You are my hero, okay?
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah, but today's technology, I'll put you back then.
I mean, Fanboy Will and I understand, the money factor and the time factor and everything. We can understand how movies are made, and we can understand what little resources you had to what you made.
Yeah.
And obviously that's why we're talking to you now, because we appreciate that.
It was not easy. A lot of times it was fun, but a lot of times it's really funny how I think the general public views true indie filmmakers. Guys like Roger King. Anybody out there that just has enough to record an image and barely more, and all they would do is realize a vision on the screen and share it with people. And they get a hard way to go because obviously it never looks very polished, very professional. But, rarely do people give it its due for the content and for the effort, for the style. It's a lot like filmmaking, but without the right tools. So in a way they deserve more props. They don't have the full crew. They don't have all the tools. And yet, still pulling stuff off. You know how many people out there are trying to do stuff? I get emails from people all the time saying that they're doing this fan film or that fan film, and I say, well, great, keep me posted. Good luck to you. And you never hear another word out of them.
Yeah, I know. Me and Chris know that story all too well.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And sometimes it seems like everybody is. But for everybody that pulls off any kind of low-budget indie flick, or any indie flick for that matter, there's probably 1,000 people that try and just can't get it done.
Very true. You got these guys, I got my costumes, I got my money, I got my locations. We're about to shoot in a month, and you never hear from them again. They fall off the face of the earth. You email them out of curiosity. How's that Batman fan film coming? And they're just like, I'm still working on the script there. Still in pre-production. In other words, I'm not going to make it ever. It's going to be...
Right. Well, a long time ago, in the late 80s, early 90s, when I, had my own video camera and I was running around, and I thought it was hot shit because I was shooting videos, and I thought they were awesome.
The old VHS tape.
Right. I didn't think they were all awesome, but I thought I had a certain style, and I thought I had at least good action stuff. And then there were guys around town who were trying to do the same thing. I don't know whether I inspired them or not, but, they were trying to do stuff, and it all was pretty terrible. And I used to be a little arrogant about it. And then it didn't take long for me to turn my attitude around and say, you know what, if they're even getting something done, if they're even trying, I should support them. Because it's not easy, it's not fun, you can't do it by yourself. So, in a long time now, my attitude has been a lot different. Anybody that's even trying to pull off a production, on any level, I say, God bless them. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the same thing with, with Fanboy Theater. I encourage anyone. I mean, I've had films made by 10-year-olds sent to me, and it's just the heart and just the humor and the just all out ballsiness. You're 10 years old. You send me a little film you made with you and your pals or whatever, dressed up in Halloween costumes. I think that's awesome. Because that's the roots. That's the beginning of what's to come. So it's great. It's great to see that. It's that enthusiasm in the youth about fan films, and get your film out no matter what. So I love that kind of stuff. It's great.
And that, I think, would bring me to Roger King, who is such a standout.
Far from a 10-year-old, but he's Hi, I'm Roger King.
I'll put it this way: at first glance, his stuff looks a lot like the stuff I was doing when I was 19 in, what was that, 87, 88, a long time ago with very little.
Back in the day.
What's funny? That opening scene, as soon as there's an opening scene from the first episode of his series, the first thing that popped into my mind was Dan Poole. I was just like... like you saw, all the villains wearing their costumes that were all handmade, and I said, this is just like something Dan Poole would do for like a sequel. Right. Versus the Sinister Six, the sequel, or something like that. But you definitely came to mind immediately. I was like, what if Dan Poole seeing this? This is awesome.
Roger was another guy that emailed me, and I think he even got my number somehow and called me. I don't know, sometime within the past year, and
it was Chris.
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry. I gave it away, Chris. To him, but I just kind of gave the cursory, civil kind of, good luck, keep you posted kind of thing. And then I never really saw anything, but you always assume you're going to either not hear from anybody again, like we were just talked about, or you'll see it and it'll be exactly what you expect.
Right.
And so the first glimpse I got of his stuff was just 3 months ago, and at first glance, it's very easy to dismiss it as real low budget stuff and stuff that just kids are doing. And I say that because of the production value and the costume. But you know what? Also in that opening scene, you see this Sandman's fist, turn into a sledgehammer, and you see the Doc Ock throws him up in the air, and whether they're cheesy or not, and I don't think the Sandman effect was cheesy at all. I think
that was awesome.
That was really cool.
It was.
Slowly you start to realize there's a little something to this, and everything about it screams energy. I mean, he has, the more you watch of Roger King's stuff, the more you see an actual style that he's got, and that to me is way more than a lot of people have. So yeah, people are out there trying it, and you got to give them props for trying it, but then somebody like Roger King comes along and just and shows you everything that's in his heart. You talk about having heart. This guy, he put everything out there. He's got a complete disregard for anything that stands in his way. So he doesn't have a lot of money spent on costumes. Well, you know what? Scotch tape and cardboard, a little paint. We'll get
a little spit on that.
Yeah, we'll get the idea across, and that's all he cares about is getting the idea across. And I said that a million years ago. I said, you know what, it doesn't matter if I shoot on VHS. All it matters is if the story holds up and you can hold people's interest, and they'll forgive everything else, and they'll just, if you can keep them intrigued with the content, that's all people will really walk away from, with is an appreciation for the content and how the story moves. And he whips it right along. He's got a lot of great cuts. He loves to play with motion control. He's got great humor. None of it's very cheesy. The humor, the dialogue, I think, is really good. Anyway, I could spend all night talking about his stuff because it blows me away. And like I wrote to him, I was sitting there trying to compare him to somebody, and I'm like, Jesus, it's like I'm writing about me, really.
He's your son. He's your protege.
Yeah.
Yes, the young Dan Poole.
Well, when we first talked to him, he was talking about getting in touch with you, Dan, and he's been trying, and he said, this guy won't freaking get in touch with me, goddammit.
Who the fuck is this guy over here?
But I'm glad you guys hooked up, so that's cool. You really appreciate his stuff, and I'm glad
you know what? In your interview with him, I heard you say that we'd probably hit it off, and because we have a lot in common. And I laughed because by that time we were already fast friends. I mean, he and his wife stopped by this booth I was working at Comic-Con, and then we got to talking a lot about certain things that only people that ever dressed up like Spider-Man for free would know to talk about. And at one point, how did you get rid of that line from the mask? How did you see through those skin eyes? And then when it got on the subject of, the cotton gloves and swinging around a building, he stopped and he's like, well, you got me there. Not swinging around a
crazy motherfucker.
Right. I had to laugh.
Just talk about Dan Poole.
Oh, so you're not dedicated, Raj? No.
I don't see you swinging from buildings, bitch.
Yeah, he has enough sense to live to do more episodes, whereas shot my wad or shot my apple in that first.
You were just a dumb kid, though. You were like 19 or something like that. 20-something.
I heard the critique, during that other podcast, and I laughed, and I'm like, no. What did we talk about at the very beginning when we were just talking? It was, I'm an athletic guy. I live for stunts, man. I just love stunts. And in fact, when I first thought I would have to swing around a building, I don't think I would attach myself to that, resign myself to that task if I hadn't really enjoyed the idea of going out to do it.
Right.
So, and then Chris Gore from Film Threat, he's always said that I remind him, or that video reminds him of a cross between Jackass and films because of the stunts.
Watch Spiderman snort wasabi. There he goes.
As friendly neighborhood Jackass.
And then, speaking of stunts, you did another fan film called Wolverine Last Calling.
That's some wild hair you got there, man. You look like Elvis got raped by Liberace. Must be a wild, crazy kind of guy. Jackass.
Don't listen to him. It's just Ricky. He talks a lot of shit. He don't mean much by it, though. Look like a pretty smart guy. Just stay away from him, alright? It's in the house.
You actually, didn't you do like a backflip off some stairs or something into a pool table or some shit like that?
That was an awesome stunt, and I always save the friggin' hard stunts for like late at night when I'm tired. I've been working for 12 hours. I don't know why I do that, but yeah,
no rubbery.
Yeah, exactly. I got no energy left. Legs are like noodles. Yeah, so Wolverine has to punch through this wall and pull the bartender out and throw him over this railing. And so the pool table wasn't down there at that point. We had all this foam down there. But the stunt was I had to get a running start from I think I had about 15 feet to work with, hit a mini tramp, go through the drywall, clear the railing, and then do the flip and land correctly on these bags. At first I'm excited about it. I'm thinking, this is nothing. And then, how things never look as tall when you're on the ground?
Of course.
So
24 flights is nothing.
Yeah, and, what's fun is when I'm standing there asking the camera guy if he's rolling for, the 8th time in, a minute and a half while everybody's waiting and waiting. He's still rolling. I'm like, all right, I'm coming. Oh, here it comes.
He gets a T-shirt made, still rolling.
Right. The only thing that allowed me mentally to go through that wall and do that stunt was my ninjutsu instructor was there. He was the guy that caused the ruckus. So in a way, so he did it with a mobile bag, and I said, dude, if I go off course anywhere, please get this under me. He said, no problem. I said, all right, I'm good now. And I did the stunt well the first time, but my cousin, who was Wolverine, did not follow his action. I said, look, man, just whatever happens, however I come to the wall, just please keep your arm moving as though, just follow through, like you were the one that pulled me through the wall. And true to my cousin's form, he doesn't take direction well. I nailed this stunt, and he just stands there staring like he's watching a car wreck. So we played it back. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? You're trying to kill me. So, but yeah, there's I think a pretty good stunt that went flawlessly, even though I was tired and it was late and it was a tough stunt. But it's the kind of stuff I live for, man. Absolutely live for. In fact, the guy playing the bartender said he would try it. I'm like, no, this is mine.
Hi. You took a wrong turn a ways back, and I was wondering if you could give us directions back to the highway.
Well, I can give you the easiest way, or I can give you the fastest way.
I guess the easiest way would be best.
What you gotta do is you go down out of the parking lot and make a left. Go down about a mile or so, and there's
You need some help here, little lady?
No, we're just a little lost.
We? Who's the we? You must be Miss Daisy. You must be the chauffeur.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we took a wrong turn back into the 1950s.
Oh, honey, don't even worry about it. Let's just go.
No, you need to go.
Okay. We don't want any trouble.
Well, you came to the wrong place.
What's your problem, buddy?
I ain't your buddy, Buck. And who are you to come in here starting shit in my bar?
Man, you better back off. I'm warning you.
Warning me, I'm gonna shove this Poole cue.
Alright, that's enough.
Look, man, I didn't stop this!
Put him down.
All right. Hey, all right. We're out of here, man. We're out of here. Come on, let's go.
No. You first. She'll be right behind you.
I'm not leaving without her.
Then you're gonna leave her all!
Hang in there, buddy. It's my turn.
So what kind of rope did you use for swinging on there? Was it like an extra strength kind of a rope, or?
That was a rope that my brother gave from his dad's sailboat. And I just thanked Todd McFarlane for making those knotty webs. And,
the overly webby webs that he made.
Yes. So, but I made that rope a little too stiff because I painted it white, and so it cracked every time you banged it. And then glued, white yarn to it just to give it that whole McFarlane-esque look.
I was thinking about McFarlane because I saw you in the movie, and I said, "Look at his hairdo. He's got like a little curl going. That's like the McFarlane, kind of like the McFarlane Spidey going there."
Was McFarlane that back in 91, 92? Oh my God!
It doesn't seem like it, but yes, it was. Yes.
Yikes!
That was back when.
And he turned into yikes. Can I say it?
Rob Liefeld had a Levi ad, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Remember that crap? The Rob Liefeld?
Whatever happened to those guys? I mean, they just aren't the creative energy that they were in the 90s.
You want to know something that's sad? He's still doing Youngblood. He just brought it back.
Yeah.
Wow.
How sad is that? He's just doing independent now. So.
Hey, at least he's got a job, right?
That's what it is, man, Got the job.
Yeah.
Still doing it, still making funny books.
Yeah.
So let's get into, are we done with Dan's Samson? He talks about these all the time, so I don't know how in-depth we want to get into them. Fanboy Will, if you got questions about him, that's how we get into, like, his newer stuff.
Okay, are we talking about Mr. Poole's new stuff?
Yeah, no, your new stuff.
Okay.
Talk about, how's your new stuff going, Will?
All right, I'll jump in here.
All right, go for it.
The Captain America fan film, whatever happened with that?
Oh, that's a good one.
I saw Sandy Calora's Dead End, and like everybody else, it just blew me away. And I thought, this is where fan films are these days.
Okay, how much did he have for a budget there?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I heard he sold his Porsche. He had, $30 grand to work with?
Living in the streets.
My God, man. But, it was pretty awesome to see. Exactly. He had a lot of professionals. In fact, there's a stuntman that I know that let me finally jump on a real Hollywood stuntman airbag when I was out there. He was one of the guys that helped him put the stunts and the rigging together.
Cool.
But after I saw it, I think I was just inspired to try another, copyrighted character, but with tools that I had, and skills that I have learned over the years and had the right, resources and equipment. I thought, you know what, I'm going to write something short and fun. And I have to say, I just reread it like a month ago because I was talking about it, and I still really dig that idea, this little Captain America script I had. It was just the way it was laid out. It's very fun. It's got like a link to 9/11 and the Red Skull, and I had a couple of Avengers appear at the very end. It was so inspired by what Kalur did, and I started to put it together. I started buying props and auditioning actors and looking for everybody, and looking for locations. I mean, I was really full-blown pre-production, and then I started looking at my checkbook. But this is exactly why I stopped doing any kind of fan film. I mean, there was a Wolverine Gambit video I wanted to do back in mid-90s, like 94, 5, or 6, that we got off the ground, started working on, and then slowly I thought, why am I doing this, man? I'm just going to spend a lot of money, and no one's going to care, and I just thought, screw it. So the Captain America thing started to drain my bank account, and one day I was talking to another filmmaker in the area, a guy named David Cross. He does a lot of low-budget horror movies around town, and I told him this idea I had about Wolverine, I laid out the whole idea about the bar fight, and then the guy blows his brains out at the end because he'd rather do that than face Wolverine. And Dave said, you want to know what I think? I think you do that one first. I'm like, you think? He goes, it'd be a lot cheaper. You got a set to use, and we had a buddy that had a production studio and a bar set up. And it all made sense, and all I had to do was pay for, a wig and some claws and have them made. And so the Captain America thing kind of got shelved. So we could do Last Call, which was cheaper. We could do it faster and have it done in time to show at Comic-Con in 2004. And, of course, they then bowed to studio pressure, and we never got to show our fan films that year or ever again. And I think after the lukewarm reception I got when I showed it at a local bar out there, I kind of just moved on. I just wanted to move on and put all my energy into doing something original that I can market, I can sell and have some modicum of success, a chance at least. Mm-hmm. And that was the end of it. I never looked back at the Cap script as much as I liked it, as much money as I'd spent on it. I just said, you know what, it's just not worth it right now. Believe me, if I had the money, the disposable income, or someone said, I would love to see a great fan film, I'll pay you, X amount of dollars. Can you get it done for, $5,000 or whatever? I'd say, yeah, man, I'd definitely jump on it. But I can't spend my own money to do it anymore. And I've done exactly what I've wanted to do. I've moved on and finally shot my first original feature film. And so that's the avenue I went. So Cap remains on my hard drive, waiting for one day where I have the means to do it for fun, because it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. When you're a kidzillionaire, you can just go off for a weekend with your friends.
Hey, let's go make a Captain America film for our vacation.
Get that solid gig and get that solid gig, spend extra money on the Captain America fan film here and there. And before you know it, release it, and it's all good.
Now I know I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it would be all good. It would be a lot of fun. I reiterate.
I'm sure that wouldn't be the only fan film. You're probably working on a bunch, I'm sure, with the enthusiasm you got for the genre and for the comics and all.
Yeah, one thing I never talk about, maybe it's never just asked of me, but I've got all these notes to myself when it was nothing ever excited me. To this day, nothing really ever excited me as much as doing a Spider-Man video. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there were times when I wanted to do something original and I had a blank canvas to stare at, but no way was it as fun or exciting as thinking that I was really going to start doing another Spidey video. And then you're right, the other Marvel characters, they would all get me very excited because these are dynamic, bigger than life friends that kept you company growing up, and you just, even if Hollywood does amazing movies like Iron Man, which just reset the whole friggin' genre as far as I'm concerned. I know what Nolan's done with Batman's been unbelievable, but I think it's a different kind of, obviously, where Iron Man is just pure fun, straight from the books. I mean, it appeals to everybody.
It wasn't a dark movie, like, right.
Right. Even though Iron Mans will keep coming out, and they'll get better at doing other heroes, you still don't see them enough.
Right.
Not like when you're collecting 14 titles a month. How are you ever going to get that 6, So, it would always be fun to do more, just for the pure virtue of seeing them in action again.
That's one of my favorite things about fan films. When are you going to see, a Captain America in a film? When are you going to see, him duking it out with U.S. Agent or whatever? And, it's like random stuff like that. When are you going to see that? You're not going to see that in Hollywood anytime soon. But it may come from some kid in his basement in, like, Nebraska, who's 17 years old, and he gets a few friends together, and he just turns out some amazing stuff. That's the great thing about fan films. You never know when it's coming, and when it does, it's awesome. It's great to see it.
I agree. Just seeing him in action. It reminds me of the latest Star Trek movie, which is
forget about it.
So much fun.
Yeah.
But what I said to people was, you know how much fun it was just to see those characters back in action.
That's
no matter who was playing them, but just done well. It was so much fun to see the gang back together and not pushing walkers with tennis balls on the ends of them. Because you just have a reverence for the character. Of course, you have the reverence for the iconic actors that brought them to life originally, but. You know what? The new cast, Chris Pine and those guys, just Abrams just blew it out of the water. So I think the same kind of thing applies. Just seeing your old friends back on screen, man.
Breath of fresh air, but still, maintaining the spirit of the original, continuity and characters.
Yeah.
It's going to take it in a different direction with respect,
Well, to finish my thought about that, even though nothing's ever excited me to the degree that Spider-Man videos have done for me, I got to, I finally had to get it through my head that no one's going to pay me to do them, and no doors are going to swing open because of them, and maybe mine just weren't good enough, but Kalora's was too good. I mean, so you just can't win, unless you're the Indiana Jones guys that finally get Spielberg's ear after years of turmoil.
Right. That's an incredible story, yeah.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see that.
but as far as Kalora, I mean, what doors have really swung open for him?
Well, he's doing an indie film now. I don't know.
Yeah, but as far as the big grand scale thing.
Yeah, I hear
he already knew people. He knows people.
Well, that was my point. I mean, no matter if you're not so great at it or you blow one out of the water, who's really giving you an opportunity because you did a fan film, no matter how good or energetic it was, and that's what I tried to instill in Roger King when I met him, and he didn't want to hear it, and he still doesn't, which is fine.
No, we said the same thing, so I know where you're going.
Yeah, I'm not slamming him at all, but what I told him was, I think, in my opinion, because I'm living it, I think the best thing you can expect from a fan film is to engage a wide audience and get some kind of fan base, and then move right on to doing something that you can actually market yourself and see if you can't bring some of those fans with you, and show a distribution company that you've got a fan base already. I think that's I think it's a really smart use for fan films. Get some popularity out there if you can.
100%
It's a good springboard.
Yeah, appeal. Find your audience, appeal to them, and then say, "Hey, look what I'm working on now."
Yeah, we totally agree. Fanboy Will and I say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, Fanboy Will? We say that all the time.
Right.
We do. Yes, we do.
We do say that all the time. Damn it.
We do. Yes. Yeah. We do.
We're chanting it under our breath.
And that concludes this episode of the Fan Film Podcast. Make sure you join us next time as we continue to talk with Mr. Dan Poole about his fan films and his original projects. See you then.
It's funny. I thought seeing the Goblin die would make me feel better, but it didn't. Instead, I just feel empty, washed out, maybe just a little bit more alone. When people die, it should be for a reason. I mean, it should have a point. So that it doesn't mean that we live in vain. I'm sorry that I never told you I was Spider-Man. But how could I? I knew you felt. Sometimes I wanted to hang it all up just for you. Try to live a normal life. But if I quit now, then your death really will mean nothing. And I don't want that. It's bad enough you're gone because of me. No. I have a responsibility. Now more than ever, I have a responsibility to keep being Spider-Man.
Living on the edge, body cross, spinning web, swinging from the highest ledge. He could leap